What up? What's happening? Welcome in to another Losers Lounge here at the DNVR bar. The Nuggets fall to the Atlanta Hawks 123-115. It was a tough watch from start to finish, an uninspired effort, to put it gently, from the Denver Nuggets. Adam Morris has the night off. I'm Brendan Vogt, and joined alongside by Eric Weedham. You know him as D-Line Co.
What's up, guys? I'm probably going to knock off here in 10 or so minutes, so.
Sweet. Good energy. Good start. And everyone's favorite Quidditch player, it's Dev.
It's got to be an NCAA sport at this point.
What, basketball? I don't want to watch any more of that.
Rugby with a stick.
Quidditch? Yeah.
If you want, guys, we can do a full hour on Quidditch. I'd rather do that than talk about the Nuggets right now. But no, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little therapy lounge. Of course, Harrison Wind will join us later in the show. He'll give us an update from that media call, that media availability. But let's start where we always start, Dev, and that's with our big takeaways. You have the honor of your first takeaway from this super fun loss.
The biggest takeaway for me is just the Nuggets not being in a position to take nights off, and this was a night that they took off. In the past you could lose a couple of games because you're winning, and you have a type of rhythm that you could fall back on. But this is not a team that's in a position to lose games. They need every single win. So that's just really rough. And then a lot is said about how many games they've played, in the last week and a half. But just looking forward, it doesn't get much better. They have 4 games in 6 nights again. So if you're tired now, there's nothing positive on the other side of this. So I just don't see how you're okay with losing these type of games.
If the issue is exhaustion and injuries, that problem's not going anywhere anytime soon. Eric, what was your big takeaway from the loss?
The big takeaway, unfortunately, is that this is what it looks like when you don't have Nikola Jokic providing the production that you just have come to count on him to provide. You need the rest of the team to step up, and you don't blame Nikola Jokic because he's not a machine, he's a man. So you can't expect him to go out and just absolutely carry the team every night. He had a rough night. Everybody does, and just the rest, nobody else showed up. Jamal did at the end, but it was too little too late. We just saw a lot of really shaky play from the guards in general.
Yeah, the defense.
The defense was just a disaster. It was exactly what we feared going into this game, where nobody able to contain anyone at the point of attack. Not only did they not contain them, they just it was just strict Matador stuff. So it sucked. It sucked to watch, sucked to talk about right now, but let's do it.
The perimeter defense was one of mine as well, but I'm just going to go right to the hot button topic. I thought the rotations were funky tonight. To see Zeke Naji close over MPJ tonight was suspect. I thought Porter played a very solid game. Naji did not, and that's no disrespect to the rookie who... but I'm just surprised at this stage. The first thing Malone told us about Zeke Naji this season, way back in training camp, was that he looked a little overwhelmed, that he didn't look ready. So I've appreciated them finally playing him, giving him these minutes, especially as they're just looking for any fresh bodies that they can find. But if that's the case, then why only was it 19 minutes for MPJ tonight? In a night they needed him, a night that he was playing well, and a night that they needed offense in the second half, Dev, he was nowhere to be found.
There was a lot of questionable decisions when it came to the rotation. The Zeke Naji closing out over Porter, of course, is one that really does stand out. Even going back to Bo earlier in the game, he started out red hot, then he went through his whole spurt of just having no idea what he's doing out on the floor and just being around, and he played him for longer, especially to come out of the doghouse and then all of a sudden play good minutes. We didn't see enough of RJ Hampton early. He came in, he gave a jolt. There was a lot of things that just didn't go well as far as rotations, but on a night that you needed another score, especially with Nikola Jokic not being aggressive and his shot not falling, him coming back, to reality, it would have been good to see Michael Porter Jr., get a chance to try to close him out or at least stay in the rhythm that he was having, because like you said, he was not having a bad night. You didn't see as many mistakes that you typically see. His shot was falling. I want to know why he didn't stick with him.
Eric, were you surprised not to see Porter out there?
Yeah, at a certain point in the third, we called it out. We're like, where's Porter? Where's Porter? And, I think your assessment of the way that this game was managed was the only one that you can really go to, and that's that it was funky. I don't really – it seemed like there was a lot of experimentation going on, almost like just, Malone and co. just sort of assumed that they could just waltz in and take this game, and so they thought they could just like kind of maybe learn some things tonight. But when the chips were down, like I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it. Like this, I don't usually feel that grumpy about the Nuggets. I'm feeling pretty grumpy tonight, though. This was like a grump fest.
I mean, I thought his defense was good in that first half, and that's maybe focusing too much on blocks or whatever, but his effort was there. And a couple of those blocks were high-effort plays, Dev. I mean, I just thought in the past you can say, okay, we can trace back Malone's logic, whether you agree with it or not. They needed defense. They needed points here. I mean, is it fair to just call this like probably the wrong decision? I mean, it's easy to say from the outside looking in, but...
Yeah, I mean, there had to be something else that goes into it, and he actually has to address it because that's like a questionable, game. Like you could say that his defense wasn't amazing, but he did some things that you really, you haven't seen from him. He got back on plays. So like there was the play earlier in the game where the guy came into him and just really just wrecked him, and he got the foul call. And the next play down, not the next play down, but like later in the game, he moved out of the way, went up and got Trae Young's shot off the backboard. And those are the high energy plays that you need from a player that is, deemed not a defensive player, but he's giving his all on the defensive end. And then he's also scoring on a night that you need scoring. So if the defensive player that, doesn't play defense is playing defense that night, and he's also giving you scoring, how do you go away from it? His rotations weren't that bad tonight.
Oh, so, dude. Like, the more I was just kind of like living in the moment, grumpy about this game, but like now, like replaying so many moments of them in my mind, I'm like, what the hell?
And the Hawks kind of were going to like a 3-guardish type of thing at the end, but a lot of the fans have been clamoring to see more of MPJ at the 4. Maybe that was a good opportunity to just slide him up. Instead, it's Zeke. So that was one note I found surprising. But let's go on to the other notable rotation decision tonight, Dev. First quarter Bull minutes, and then I was even more surprised to see him come out there again in the second half. What are your thoughts on seeing Bull tonight?
Yeah, that one shocked me. I'm telling. First off, I was shocked to see him play because we just haven't seen him in so long, and there's so many questions of where's Bull. I don't think that he should play a lot of minutes, but giving him a few minutes and seeing how he is, and also just giving another body, especially on a team that has 2 bigs. So when Bobo first got in the game, him and Facu had a great connection. He scores. Next time down, he shoots a 3. Maybe since the momentum's going on his side, you play him for a little bit. Once he makes a mistake, then you pull him, and it seemed like he did try to do that. But then he started getting worse and worse and worse. So you got to see the high and the low of Bobo. Which it comes with just not playing a lot of minutes. So on the other hand, you want to say, hey, you have to play your guys through their mistakes and let them learn on the fly. That's the only way they're going to get better. But then you're in a position that you have to win games. Exactly. So it makes it really, really hard. Like the Hawks, typically this is a time that you tinker with the lineups and you do different type of things. Cavaliers are the same exact way. But when you don't have as many wins as you want, you're not where you want to be. You can't just keep trying to change it up. You have to stick with what you know.
Were you feeling those Bull minutes, and did you feel differently about first half or second half?
I definitely felt like it was a cool novelty when he came in the first half. He hit that 3. I was like, oh, baby. Like, it felt weird to feel confident about Bull again and excited to watch him play. Then, of course, he had he's physically unable to not travel at least once per game when he catches and wants to take off. So, I mean, I liked it, but it's like you said. I mean, once we hit that second half and it was becoming clear that the Nuggets were losing control of the game, it was like, we need to buckle down here. Like, we got to get our we can't be experimenting anymore. Like, that ship has sailed. Like, now's winning time. And Malone just stuck with things that weren't working for too long. Like, he left Jamal Murray to guard Trae Young and I feel like that was honestly where the game turned.
So I thought this was a throw Bull a bone game. To me, I mean, there's been all this conversation about, is he in a doghouse? Obviously, that clip circulates after last game. He can't get in garbage time because he forgot to wear his jersey. Like, the Bull stonks are down, fellas. And this is a guy who was, whether you think Bull is good or not, the fact that the team was talking, the front office, the coaching staff, the players, there was real noise about this very talented player. So I thought this was we're just going to make a concerted effort to give the kid a chance, throw him a bone.
Malone does this.
And that's one thing in the first half, but in the second half, I thought it was suspect. I would not have gone back to him, or if I did, maybe go all the way into the experimental thing and throw a zone, try to get Atlanta out of their rhythm. So I don't know. I was surprised by it. I was. Let's move on now, guys. Let's just run through each of the players on the roster here. Just want to ask you what you thought about their nights. Dev, this was a two sides of the coin night, I thought, from Jamal Murray, who was very, very good offensively, not so much defensively. What'd you think?
I mean, I have nothing negative to say about Jamal, just due to the fact that you want him to score. You need him scoring. You need him to find that rhythm. On the night that Jokic has an even decent night, this is a win for the Nuggets. So to see Jamal Murray still being aggressive, getting to the free throw line, which we hadn't seen earlier in the season, it's trending in the right direction to show like he's at least aggressive and he's starting to come back to himself. On the defensive end, I mean, he got attacked all night. Who didn't? Trae Young did whatever he wanted out there. So you want to see, progression on that end. But as far as scoring and what you really do need from Jamal Murray, he gave it to you tonight.
I thought he played really well offensively. I did say in that pregame, if I could pick one thing I would have loved to see Jamal rise and meet, it would have been tonight's defensive challenge, and he did not.
Nope.
He was not alone. Will Barton, horrible defensively tonight. Two guys who actually, Barton also had a decent night offensively, more so than some people might think, but defensively it was terrible. I mean, did it add up to a positive impact from you, from Murray, Eric?
From Murray, I just said, I really think this game fell apart with his abysmal defensive effort on Trae Young. Blowing by, allowing wide open pointers to come from it. It was all in that third quarter. And we were just watching it unfold, and we were, just screaming out, why is RJ not on Trae Young? Why is Facu not on Trae Young? Jamal Murray can't handle this. He's just not quick enough for whatever reason. So, overall, though, we're still trending up as far as what Murray has to offer, which is his scoring punch. I mean, do you get in the 30s again? This is another game where we're starting to realize that is reliable. But again, a night without Jokic, nobody steps up. Breakdowns defensively, it was just frustrating.
Dev, what do you think of Will Barton's night?
So first off, Will Barton did extremely well in that first half. He played exceptionally well. He was the scoring target. He was getting into the paint. He got a dunk. So you see that the legs are coming back. Everything was going well for him. Really, where it stopped, and I'm sure where people's minds go is once he missed that free throw coming back from the half. From there, it really just started tanking, and I think that maybe he even got into his own head. Because he already knows, what type of, player he is. A lot of it is momentum. So as soon as he missed that free throw, things did started going bad for him. But on top of that, Barton is like a player that if the team is trending up, he's going to go with that. When the team is trending down, he's going to go with that. There was not many players that you could have went to tonight.
Right.
Jamal is the only one that's scoring. Will Barton tried to do what he had to do earlier in the game, and then when you have momentum scoring the ball later in the game, it's harder for you to say, okay, I'm just going to go to the hot man because I could be the hot man. I've been the hot man tonight. So I think that it was a conflicting night for Will Barton on do I score or do I pass?
Yo,
what do you think, Eric?
You know what's crazy? You're going to have a hard time believing this. The chat angry at Will Barton.
It's hard to believe. You know what? Look, tonight, offensively, I didn't think Barton was too bad.
He was good, man.
But defensively, Eric, and we're talking about the perimeter defense.
Totally.
He was out there. I mean, it was hardly a
I know. But I mean, Will Barton was not the issue in this game. He just wasn't. He wasn't great, but he was great. I mean, he was good offensively. He was the only one scoring in the first quarter outside of MPJ, who then mysteriously never made it back.
I thought he was part of the problem, to be honest, insofar as the perimeter defense was the problem. And, that they had to turn to RJ was unfortunate. Zeke Naji, what do you think? Kind of an underwhelming night from him, Dev, but the expectations are low.
Sorry, I'm not sure why people would put money in and put who let the dogs out.
That just on a Sunday night after a loss.
Somebody plays who let the dogs out.
They put their own money into that. It threw me off. Zeke Naji. Oh man, Zeke Naji was not let out. He did not have a good game, and you start to go back to why he was not playing a lot of minutes in the first place. This was not the first time, but this is one of the times that you get to see that, yes, he is a rookie.
Yeah.
Sorry, this song's throwing
Devin, somebody let the dogs out.
It doesn't match the vibes of our show at all.
Hey, in the chat, could one of you let us know who did in fact let the dogs out?
Yeah, but Zeke Nnaji played a lot of minutes, and you wanted him to get that chance. So you really do, like, you root for a guy like that, that he's playing his hardest and he's doing everything that he can. But at the same time, it's against a pretty talented, front court with the Atlanta Hawks. So it did make it hard, especially with Jokic. Everything comes back to Jokic not having a good night, so you get to see the negative aspects of every single player.
Eric, Zeke was 3 from 5 tonight, 7 points, 3 rebounds. Expectations are low, but in 30 minutes. How did you think he looked tonight physically? Did he look like he belonged out there with the Atlanta?
He had some containment out at the perimeter, which was nice. He did some rook stuff. Overall, he was fine. He just, he's not quite ready to start in the NBA. I think that much is clear. I think Barton may have let the dogs out as far as the as the chat is concerned. It's not a great situation when you are finding yourself reliant on a literal rookie in this league. Like, I need to know why MPJ wasn't playing down the stretch. I need to know. There has to be something to it. I would not, in any circumstance, have been relying on Zeke Nnaji going down the stretch like that. He was fine, but he shouldn't have been in that position.
Facu, Dev. Some moments against Trae, he got shook as hard as anyone else did. Generally, I thought he did a better job defensively. 4 for 7 from the field, 4 for 4 from the line, 16 points. What do you think of Facu's performance?
You can't get mad with him because everything about him is energy, and he brought that, into the final whistle. He was no player that was still playing extremely hard in the fourth quarter. He's knocking down shots. He's still giving Trae Young different looks, and let's just look at it. Jamal Murray let Trae Young did whatever he wanted in that third quarter. So now you have it's like hitting a beehive. It's like hitting a beehive, and then everything is just going like not your way.
Yeah.
And then you're asking him to slow down a player that's scorching hot. So I think that was really tough position for Campazzo to be in. But he did bring that energy. He still did make great decisions. And what's fun about Facu is he's such a high IQ player that he could take chances that other players can't take, especially on the defensive end. You see him face guarding guys. He's going over for double
helps
teams.
From the weirdest places.
Weird spots, but he can get back because he's smart enough to know exactly what's happening and where to be at on the floor. So, I liked what I seen from Facu tonight. You can't be down on him.
Eric, one dynamic I've been watching, and Monte Morris is dealing with that shoulder strain, which is probably the biggest issue. But Facu's had the ball in his hands a lot more. And Monte, as he's sort of become that next point guard with Monte dealing with the shoulder strain, we've seen Morris maybe have some subpar performances. Much, much better tonight, Eric. 15 points, 7 for 13 from the field, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Did you like what you saw from Monte
Morris
tonight?
Was great.
Yeah.
Morris was one of the 3 players when he had the ball in his hands, you were like, oh, phew. Something good can come from this. Good. Monte's shooting it. He was great. That's everything you want out of Monte. I thought Facu was great, too. I really thought that Facu was able to disrupt Trae Young quite a bit. He had sort of a dark period from middle of the third quarter leading into a lot of the fourth, and that was when, just because, Facu was that past, Trae Young had to actually work for his points rather than having wide open shots, right? Or just getting in simple float. I mean, Dev was just saying, admiring the floater game from Trae Young, which was on full display because right when you get right past Murray and before you even start to think about anybody protecting the rim, you have that wide open shot in the lane, which he hit over and over and over again. And Facu at least prevented that. So Facu was good and Barton was good, and but to no avail.
Usually if he finished with 0 points, 0 rebounds, and 1 assist, I would call that a quiet night. Somehow I think Isaiah Hartenstein had a loud 10 minutes and 37 seconds. What did you see from him tonight? I thought it went in both directions.
I think he's just all over the floor, all over the court. But we already know I'm never going to say anything negative about him. So he's just out there, and he's excited to be in the league. So I have nothing to say, about Isaiah. But since we're still talking about it, just something that we should bring up is the fact that going to the guards and also putting Hartenstein and Jokic and those big guys into bad positions is not having a player like Gary Harris or PJ Dozier and those type of defenders. the point of attack is just so easy, and that's why Trae Young is able to score so easy with the floaters and getting to his spots, because once he breaks down a player like Facu or Jamal Murray, it's free reign from there. And you have a player that's so creative with the ball in his hands, and his handle is so tight, and he just knows exactly where to be. He could throw it up, he could skip. Like, there was a lot of Trae Young passes in that game that I don't think that people realize how incredible they were. Left-handed, oops, full court, skips around that we see from Jokic and those type of things. But not having a player like Gary Harris, it just makes it easier for guards like Trae Young to be able to attack. And in the NBA, most nights you're going to play against a player like that, especially at the point guard spot. So they really, really do need their defensive point guards, or just guards that could just be on a point guard like that. So now you have point guard issues, and you have no wing. So what are you doing? What do you do?
We have nothing but issues.
And I just, when Gary Harris is out, like, we talk so much about the lack of ring protection and no wings. Sometimes the point of attack defense, I think, is like the worst of all. And it's like
bad,
the first domino to fall, of course. And then you've got Jokic doing things he's not going to do defensively. Like we talked about in the pregame show, those lobs that just went over the top of his fingers. Bunch of those tonight.
It was Murray not being able to stop the point of attack. Jokic refusing to even put his arms up until the third quarter, when you're talking about those lobs. Like, poor Jokic.
But the Hawks actually, like, they lead the NBA by like a wide margin in those lob things, and like the lobs points. And then you have a team like the Nuggets who really, really can't stop the lobs. So it's a 3-point shooting team and a lob team, which is, the Nuggets' kryptonite. And then they have it on display with a guard that's just really crafty that could do whatever he wants.
No one else's kryptonite. This team's won 12 games.
A little depressing how many bad teams are straight up bad matchups for the Nuggets.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, from Hartenstein, I thought there were some solid defensive possessions. Then there's the offensive best possession down the stretch where he catches the ball on the roll. Just drops it. Has no idea where he wants to go with it. And just 0 rebounds isn't good enough. His backup center, that's probably the top thing I would say I'd like from my backup center
at this point,
if I were a GM.
Yeah, or a fan.
Or
a media member. I was watching that game, and at a certain point I was like, when we were talking about Hartenstein being a carbon copy replacement for Mason Plumlee, no, he is not. He is absolutely not. Like, he does some good stuff, but man, I don't know, man. I might be out on Hart. I might be out.
Don't take Mason Plumlee for granted, man. That was something we talked about a lot. Like, that's a solid backup center across 82 games.
No doubt, dude.
I'll own it. Like, we heard, saw, and relayed some good things about Hartenstein as media coming into the season, and so far, any attempt to hype that signing looks a bit silly. But hey, let's get into our ad read, guys. Allie, do we want to do the Zoom Care ad read tonight? We don't need to? Then fine. We don't have to. Nice and easy. Instead, I will talk about Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. They also have the official beer of the Denver Nuggets, the Mile High City Copper Lager. We drink that a lot here on the show in the DNVR bar.
I wish I drank more of it tonight.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm like all business for this, really. If you're not sure where to find it, punch it into the Breck Beer Locator, one of the dopest tools out there. You punch in what flavor you're looking for. You tell them where they live. They tell you where to find it, down to the nearest 10th of a mile. As easy as that. Also, guys, let's talk about those Celsius. Breck is finally introducing their seltzer line. It comes in a beautiful Jokic 15-pack. They got that apple pear, cherry, peach, cherry, peach, berry,
black
and honeydew.
cherry.
A lot of commas. Head to the Breck Beer Locator, see where the closest 15-pack of Breck Beer Seltzers is. The DNVR fam, we've all tried them. We love them all. That's actually for real. That's a real sell job, dude.
Wait, Dev, you weren't even familiar with the concept of a seltzer.
No, it's like carbonated water or like hard water or something like that.
But then you had the peach, and now you're a certified peach man.
That's the only one that we'll try. The peach it's not bad, and I need to stay hydrated. So having a seltzer is like good for hydration. Like, high schooler starts cramping up in a high school basketball game. Get a seltzer.
All you high schoolers out there,
get a seltzer.
Oh, wow.
Okay, let's also talk about Hassel Cattle Company. It's the absolute best source for farm-to-table Wagyu beef in the country. It's a 4th-generation cattle farm out of Texas. They ship all over the beautiful U.S. of A. Head to HassellCattleCompany.com. That's HASSELL. CattleCompany.com. Learning how to read here on the fly. Use promo code DNVR10 for 10% off your order. That's DNVR10 for 10% off. And hey, if you order in bulk, any orders over $200, you receive free shipping. Check them out. We promise, you will not be disappointed. All right, fellas, we went a little long in the first segment. Let's keep it moving here. We're going to play one of our famous games, Producer Allie. This one's really innovative, brand new, structurally nothing like any of our other games.
Luckily, we happen to have props that worked.
It's called Up and Down.
Worked with this brand new game.
Different from Hot and Cold, different from Stonk Reports.
Yeah, this is a whole new. This one we figure out who's up and who's down.
Yeah, it's real complicated. All right, fellas. This one's pretty. I'm just going to start with an easy one, and I think it's kind of a fun one, a good vibe one. Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray. So wait a minute. We came up with this game, and I don't even know.
We didn't flesh it out at all. Yeah.
What are we saying? We're talking about the trajectory that we believe that they're on.
Yeah, up or down. Don't overthink it.
Do we feel good about them moving forward? I'll give. You know what I feel about Jamal Murray? I feel up.
He's up.
I'm feeling up when it comes to Jamal Murray.
He's definitely on the up. His scoring is coming back, and once you get Jamal Murray scoring and giving some help to Jokic, it's definitely on the up. It's definitely on the up.
This, would you call what he's on an ascension?
Yep,
Nope.
Yep. I think he's on a heater. They call it a heater.
I'll tell you what. The last thing I'm going to call it is an ascension. No, Murray's up. There's no doubt about it. I'm not even going to show my arrow because you all know it's true. And look, the defense was really bad tonight. But again, it's this much like the Washington game. There is a positive takeaway, which is, he looks right physically again, and that's, you'll take it.
We need it. Although it turns out we had it, it didn't matter. But
interesting night to ask this one.
Oh boy.
MPJ, Dev, up or down?
Ooh. No, wait. Is this again? As we're establishing the rules on the fly, is this how you personally just feel about him?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's on the up. And the only reason I say that he's on the up is because he's now in the starting lineup. So of course he has to be on the
starting
up.
line. It's not called the starting line down.
Exactly. So he's a starter. He's getting his minutes. We don't know what happened tonight, but before tonight he was actually getting minutes and he was making the best of those minutes. Right. So he has to be up.
Eric, what do you think about MPJ, up or down, brother?
I think he's a part of the starting line. Up. I agree with Dev. He's trending up. Unfortunately, if I was Michael Malone, I might give a old downeroo. But somebody played Who Let the Dogs Out again. I'm going to give that a down.
Someone's watching the show, Dev. They just paid up for that. Yeah.
I'm going to give Who Let the Dogs Out a down. But no, MPJ's up, man. Like, he just didn't get the minutes. Confusingly, it makes no sense. But he is a player. He looks more confident. That's all you can ask for. The man is up.
I think he's up. And that was my biggest issue with tonight. It's like after he has that offensive explosion, then tonight I think he approaches the game the right way, and he doesn't play at all in the second half. Very, very strange. I thought it was all trending up, Dev.
Up. He's got to be up.
Easy. Nice and easy. Very insightful, Dev. Zeke Naji, Eric. Big game against the Lakers. Big game.
Yo.
Since then, coming back to earth a little bit. Up or down on Zeke?
Yo, Zeke is like straight steady. Like he's not really going anywhere. Like I still believe in Zeke, but he's not really showing me that he should be counted upon at this exact moment in time. I'm going to give him a steady.
Steady. Dev?
I'm going to give him a down. The only reason I give him a down is because when you get some minutes, you're supposed to make the best of those minutes. And right now, he's not making the best of those minutes. When you come off the bench, it looks a lot different because you're going against guys that are not starters in this league. And also, you start to see the flaws and things that are not going so well. We thought that he was high because he was making all of these shots. And he looks like he just knew where to be on the floor. Huh?
We thought he was high.
Yeah, well, we were high on him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are you high?
Not high, no.
So I think that it has to be down for him right now until he proves that he could at least create some consistency.
Yeah, I think it's down. I don't think the defense has been awesome. I don't think the rebounding's been great. He's out there right now. It seems like he's out there to shoot. But I don't know. Tonight I didn't think it was a great night from Zeke. I think he's trending down. I think ultimately, from this opportunity he's been handed, he's done a good job with it. He's shown he's ready at some point to play NBA minutes, a guy that's worth giving a look. But I also think we've learned there's a hard ceiling on it. He's probably not a starter. I got Zeke down.
It was a bummer, man.
Bull, Eric.
I mean,
it was
Bull-
definitely down before tonight.
Yo, Bull's got to be up, man. Bull has to be up. He couldn't have been any lower. He literally did not wear his NBA uniform to be an NBA player at an NBA game, so he was not able to enter the game. That was as down as it gets. And so to see him being placed in early and getting, actually decent minutes for him, I mean, he's up. He hit a three-pointer. Absolutely.
I mean, you can't go any lower than he was. Like,
Sure.
That's
It's
really what it
impossible.
is. He got some minutes. He got to be out there on the floor. He also made both of the shots that he took. You start to see like small spurts, and it's really not on him. That's not a game that you could blame on Bobo because he didn't have horrible minutes. It just was not, what you expected or needed at the time. But you definitely have to be up on him.
Yeah, up because he played, because he hit some shots. Defensively, man, it is a mess with Bull. And it looks like it's going to be a mess for a long time. But, again, I think this was a throw him a bone game. I think it seems like he was in a doghouse. So,
Why
in
did he
that
throw us
sense,
a bone?
it's definitely up.
I want a bone. Like, Denver Nuggets, throw us a bone. Like, just play better than we expect one night, right?
Sure. Let's
be
talk about
nice.
Facundo Campazzo. This is a bright spot these days.
Yeah.
I thought he looked great in this road trip. What do you think, Dev? Up or down for Facu?
He's a up. He's definitely a up. He proved that he's a player in this league that, provides consistency, and you're going to get the exact same thing. You know what you're going to get from him every time. And what type of coach doesn't want a player that they know what they're going to expect from him, and he's going to live up to that. Facu's knocking down shots. He's giving, defensive effort. He brings energy every single time that he's on the floor, and he's just a high IQ player. You can't be upset about that type of player who's also just not out there getting attacked every single time. I'm up on Facu.
I'm way up on Facu, man. I think the defense is great. The other thing is I think the energy is great. And this is something going back to training camp we wondered about Facu. Would it be infectious? I think I wish it was tonight. It didn't seem to permeate the rest of the group, but this is as a Malone guy as you could have made in a lab. He's going to play hard regardless of the score. I like those minutes when he's in there with the starters too. I don't know, man. I'm way in on Facu. I know everyone's down on the idea of Facu as opposed to a wing, as opposed to a Torrey Krebs type, but he's hardly been the problem these last few games. I'm way up.
Oh, up. Like, I see a lot of very Spanish-sounding names in the chat. Also very interested, very in on Facu. But, man, Facu's been great. Like, it is that little jolt that you get in a game where, this game is supposed to be fun to watch. It's supposed to be fun to play, and he actually makes it fun from time to time. Most of the Nuggets had completely checked out down the stretch, and Facu just kept hitting threes. Like, he was not about to give up. I love that. I love that never say die attitude. I love just the fact the man just wants to play. He wants to compete all the time. It's just not something that we see from every player every night. So, Campazzo, up to you, my man.
Would you say he's an NBA player?
I would describe him definitively as an NBA player.
Matt Moore sub-pod tweet.
Sub comment.
Okay, downer, Isaiah Hartenstein. I think I just revealed my own answer, but Dev, up or down?
Up.
Whoa!
I have nothing negative to say about Isaiah Hartenstein. I have no basketball takes about the man. He's out there not rebounding, not giving you much else, but
Sounds up to me.
he's gonna help his teammates out. Get in a guy's face if he has to, and gently just push him in the other direction.
Eric?
That was a I don't understand what we just got out of Dev. Let me just prep my down arrow here. It's going to be down. Isaiah Hartenstein, very much down. Hartenstein, very much down for me. I really singled him out as a player that I was not enjoying watching this night. I watched him make a lot of boneheaded mistakes when the Nuggets were on their run, coming back into this game, and he dribbled into the middle of the key and just let go of the ball. I wanted to scream and cry, and so for those reasons, I'm going to give him a down.
There's a bit of a bowl factor here. Like, at least he's playing, which was
Wow. Yeah,
Hartenstein was at one point completely out of this rotation, even with the injuries. But I'm going to say down just in terms of my personal belief, not necessarily in his career or anything like that, but him being the backup center right now in Denver, it's just not working out. And You need a backup center. And I can't help but wonder, guys, like, everyone's going to talk about, the Jeremy Grant decision, not getting any wings and all that stuff, but was it a late first rounder or like an early second rounder that the Cavs got in there and they got Jared Allen for in the James Harden trade? They attached themselves to that deal and they got Allen on the cheap. And it just seems, you could say this of every team in the league, but is that not a deal the Nuggets could have gotten in on? And wouldn't you like there could be a high impact backup center on this team right now in Jared Allen. I guess there's really nowhere to go with that other than, that stinks.
You don't know. It's always difficult to talk about like what the Nuggets could or could not have done in trades because you don't know what those conversations are like.
What was on the table?
Yeah, you have no idea. Are you asking me if I would like to have Jared Allen? Yes, I would. That would be nice.
Dev, are you out on the Hartenstein in Denver thing altogether? Where's your hope meter out on Hartenstein?
He's already said he can't say anything bad about Zach.
No, I know that he can't say anything bad, but do you think it'll get better?
Yeah, I think that they should be in like LA filming movies or something like that, or taking pictures, Instagram and things like that. Like as far as on a basketball court, he's not bringing it right now. He brings nothing to the table, or anything that the Nuggets really do need. You needed a guy that was Mason Plumlee, or just like somebody that you could be on, like put on the floor, and they're going to give you the things that you're supposed to do when you're that height and you're athletic. We need you to rebound. We need you to play hard. We need you to alter shots at the rim. We need you to just be big and out there. We don't have your girlfriend on the team. So what do you have for us?
What do we have outside of his girlfriend? It is. I've heard it repeated to me 8 bazillion times in person and online that the easiest thing to find in the NBA is a backup center because you just need a big guy that doesn't have to shoot, that can just block shots. Poppycock, I say. Just being a big guy does not make you good at NBA basketball. We're seeing it in Hartenstein, but who cares? The Wind is here. Let's hear what Harrison Wind has.
Wind is here. We will do the media stuff on the other side of this break, but Wind, while we have you here, I want to talk to you about this because you're the trust the bench guy. I know you believed in Hartenstein.
Get down, baby.
Where are you at on Isaiah Hartenstein, up or down? And do you think that this can get better here in his time with the Denver Nuggets?
I am the trust the bench guy. There we go. I am the trust the bench guy. But I did say on this post-game show 2 days ago that they need to get a different backup center for the playoffs. He
terrible.
can get better. He can get more comfortable. He just really hasn't even played that many minutes in the NBA. He still looks like he's a bit frantic out there.
Frantic's a good word, I think.
Yeah. So down for sure right now.
We gave you the visual cue. You don't just say
Down.
down. Okay, there we go. Thanks,
All right,
bro.
guys, a couple more before the break here. R.J. Hampton. Eric, R.J. Hampton, up or down? You can take my arrows.
I'm going to go up. I love R.J. Hampton. Again, a lot of energy. Out of control, I would say, at portions of tonight, which is not great. He's sort of like revealing himself to be a little bit of a Torrey Craig in a sense. Like he's not as tall as him, but he's an energy player that can help you on defense and is really unpredictable on offense. But again, like I just love what the kid brings. And a game like this, the bar is so low when just nobody's giving you any positive light. So just to see a little bit of shine from him, and outside of just this game, like I like the prospect of what we get from RJ.
Wind, RJ Hampton, up or down?
I'm up on Hampton. I'm surprised we didn't see him before the third quarter tonight. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I know why. It was a bowl night. I don't think we'll have another bowl night for a bit.
What did you think of Bulls night, and particularly the decision to go back to him in the second half?
Surprised for sure. For sure. He hit a 3, but just looks a little lost out there.
Yeah.
And it's understandable when he hasn't played a ton, but he just didn't give you what you needed tonight. So I thought RJ was going to play, especially because they were playing Trae Young. And I thought he did some good things in the second half. I tweeted at halftime, we're going to see a lot of RJ Hampton in the second half. He played 11 minutes. Maybe could have played even more.
Yeah. Dev, up or down on RJ?
Up on RJ. Not tonight. I don't think that he, was great tonight. But, looking like into the future, that he's going to be a player that you could put on anybody, and he's going to be able to stay in front of him. He's going to be able to go out there and give you great energy and minutes. And when you have a player that's an end of the bench player, You just need them to do their job, and he does his job every single time. He's still learning on the fly just like every other rookie is, but he's a great rookie defender, and that's something that you could build around, especially seeing that the Nuggets don't have many defenders right now. So having a guy that does play defense is just like refreshing.
We'll take a break, guys. Time and time again, the one thing that will protect you against economic downturns is an education allowing you to adapt into varying careers. Go and build your toolbox at MSU Denver Online. It puts a dynamic education at your fingertips without forcing you to decide between earning a degree and living your life. It's the Colorado institution providing rigorous and affordable online programs. Taught by professors bring the real world into the classroom. MSU Denver's been doing the online education for years. This is not some shift after the pandemic. These guys are prepared to provide you the education you need. Don't have to choose, and not choosing between, convenience and safety is of the utmost importance right now. Check out MSU Denver Online. Strava Craft Coffee, the CBD infused coffee. I love it. One of my favorite ways to get my morning started. What is it? Well, you know what coffee is, Eric, right? I'm sure you're familiar.
Coffee, I've heard, yes.
CBD, it's not like THC. It's not going to get you high, but you might notice an alleviation of certain things like maybe anxiety. It takes the edge off some of your IBS. I think it's great, and you can head to Strava Craft Coffee right now and get 20% off a one-time order using code DNVR20, or you can use that code for their subscription service, get 20% off every single shipment. You can choose what flavor, what dosage you get, and when it comes to you every 2, 4, 3, 5, 6, 8 weeks. Skip 7, but they're all available to you. Check out Strava Craft Coffee, and make sure you use code DNVR20 to save 20%.
Man, I got crushed on bets tonight.
Back here on the show with Harrison Wind, who was on the media call. Harrison, take us through what we heard from the Denver Nuggets and head coach Michael Malone tonight.
Yeah, so I only spoke to Michael Malone and Zeke Naji. I think Monte Morris just spoke. Jamal Murray is also supposed to speak, but I wanted to catch you guys while the show was still going. Thought that was important. Michael Malone was asked about the fact that Michael Porter Jr. only played 19 minutes.
Yes, tell us.
So Michael, of course, started at the 3 tonight. We thought maybe he started at the 4, but he started at the 3. He subbed out with some starters late in the third quarter, never came back. Malone said, we were getting our ass kicked. I took a lot of guys out. I took all starters except Nikola out in that third quarter because we were getting blown out. Just looking for a group that was going to play hard. So it wasn't just individual, it was a collective group decision, and the guys that were out there got us back in the game. So, did you guys talk about Porter's absence in the fourth?
Yeah, we were surprised to see it, Harrison. We thought he played pretty solid defense in the first half. The offensive approach was okay.
Yeah, I'd say that's been the question of the lounge here.
And I think it's the question a lot of fans have. And I'm hearing what Malone's saying, but then you look at the starters, 30 minutes for Zeke Naji, almost 37 for Yoke, 26 for Will, 35 for Jamal, 19 for Porter. So there's a difference there. There's a reason we're talking about him. Wind, were you surprised to not see him out there?
Definitely. And, I think he's got to play more than 19 minutes.
Yeah.
He's got to. Coming off the game he had last night or 2 nights ago, you want to keep this going. You want to keep his confidence up. Well, this is the time of the regular season to get him in rhythm. Ugh. This is the stretch, Heading into the All-Star break, you got, 6 games left? Get him into a rhythm. Play him more than 19 minutes.
And he's coming off some strong performances, right? So you'd think... Yeah,
so he didn't address MPJ specifically at all.
Yeah, he never actually answered the question.
He didn't answer the question at all.
He kind of just went around it all and went back to the whole group, but nothing about him specifically, which you still want to answer.
And that is the question.
If you're going to do that about MPJ, at least exactly say why. He missed some rotations or say something that you could go back to. But for you to just give a cop-out answer that went around it makes it really hard to at least even gauge how you feel about the situation.
Right.
This feels like the way Malone was handling this when he first got here, which at the time you go, okay, that's fine. There's argument to make that that's bore fruit here for MPJ. But at this point in the stage of development, it feels a little frustrating. Yeah. What else did we hear, Harrison?
Just on Porter, 2 blocks tonight, 19 minutes. I think he started 4-4 and then finished up 4-7. So yeah, he's got to be playing more than that, in my opinion.
No doubt.
What else did Michael Malone say? He didn't blame it all on the defense. The defense was bad, but he said the offense also struggled. The turnovers as well. Denver had 13 turnovers that they were credited for, Malone said that resulted in 20 points for the Hawks. So the storyline of Denver beating themselves, which we've talked about a lot. And he categorized his rotations in the second half as he was, quote, in search mode, just searching and searching for reliable defense, for people who aren't going to turn the ball over. He was searching. He did speak highly of Monte Morris's play tonight, who had 0 turnovers in 32 minutes.
6 assists to
15
the Monte.
points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists from Monte tonight. And then Facu also, he said Facu's energy, he thought Facu did a good job, but we have to play harder, we have to play better. He also said it's a very long road trip for our guys, so maybe that can handle some blame too.
Where was his mood at? I mean, was there a read on the tone? Exasperated, tired, ready to go home?
Tired,
Yeah.
exasperated's good. Not the world is ending,
Right.
but yeah, disappointed. I mean, this is a game the Nuggets probably should have won. They're a much better team than Atlanta, even with how many guys Denver's down.
Atlanta down
One they
guys as
should've won.
well. Man. You look at this road, I mean, these last 3 games, they really should have gone at least 2 or 3. It's a disappointing result for sure.
Yeah.
All right, who else did we hear from? What did we hear, Harrison?
So I only heard from Zeke. I'm going to see if we get anything here on Monte that pops up on Twitter or from Jamal. He was asked kind of about what's the biggest adjustment. Is it on the offensive end or is it on the defensive end for him at this point after getting some games under the belt? He said on the defensive end, there's a lot more thinking involved there. And just on his start, he said he felt like he was ready to start. He did a lot to prepare for it. He felt like he was mentally locked in. And, Zeke Naji definitely in the Michael Malone circle of trust.
That seems to be the case. Right? Yeah. What'd you think of Naji's night, Harrison?
I'm up on him.
Yeah.
I think I am. 3 of 5 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. He also stepped out of bounds on that other made 3. But I love that he's playing. I love that he's playing. Even if, like, Paul Millsap had been healthy, I would have been a proponent of the Nuggets saying, like, Paul, just take a night off. We're going to play Zeke tonight.
Yeah.
This is a Zeke night. Like, that's what Denver should be doing right now. So I love the fact that he's playing, and, it's only going to be good for him going forward.
Well, it's been what a bummer night. I have one thing I'd like to go to, Allie. I did award a prestigious award tonight, and I think that it should be brought up. The winner of the 2021-2020 season, D-Line's official worst hair of the NBA, awarded to Trae Young tonight. Congratulations.
Who were the other finalists? Who were
The
some
other
of the
finalists?
candidates?
The other finalists, I hate to bring it up. I don't like to rub salt in the wound, but unfortunately, Colin Sexton just came up a little short. Potentially, if he'd grown 2 rat tails instead of just the one. Or Yusuf Nurkic and Kyle Kuzma, both of whom gave themselves red clown wigs intentionally.
Intentionally.
Robin Lopez, who refuses to wear a headband even though his hair is an unmitigated disaster every night. All of whom, including me, are here to tell Trae Young, you did it. Congratulations. You look awful, and we are here to award you for it.
Professional logo designer, creative. I don't want to call you genius. Something short of that.
Okay.
And true hair expert, Eric Weedham, D-Line Co. Harrison, I'm glad we have you back on the show. I always miss you when you're doing those media calls because we miss your perspective. So this is that part of the show where we ask you what you think and you say everything we already said, and then we make fun of you. So what did you think tonight, Harrison?
It seemed like to me the game flipped when Michael Malone called that early timeout in the second quarter. 16 seconds in.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
You didn't?
We did not.
Oh, wow.
That's a good point.
The Nuggets were actually up 33-30 at that point. Like, they were still leading. And, yeah, they were up and gave away most of that lead in the first. But they came out in the second quarter with nothing. That timeout happened. Nothing changed. And from then on, like, Denver just wasn't there. They just didn't have it.
Seems like a real turning point in the game. And I don't know, like, when guys are this exhausted and you're at the end of this road trip and, like, the white knuckling it approach, I just wonder how infectious that tension is, right? And does it seem more exhausting, more daunting if your coach doesn't believe in you enough to let you play through 16 seconds through the second quarter?
Yeah, but do you think that it has something to do with the fact of who it was that scored? Like, he had just made a rotation, and then It was the bench unit, which we already know has been struggling, and then it's Gallo that hit the three ball. It's like we need to talk about this to try to get something going. Like I don't want to fault Malone on that because like at the time I think he was just like, hey, let's not get this away. Let's talk to him as soon as it happens, just so that we could like stop it before it happens. But from there, it's like the floodgates really just opened from that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a case of it was going badly to end the first, and then it flipped to the second, and it just seemed like nothing had changed. And like, yeah, we obviously can't continue down this path.
What a terrible game. That was
Yeah,
so
rough
grumpy.
night. I mean, vibes were good.
This is like
Vibes
one of these
now bad.
This is like one of these games. It's like such garbage that you're like, what are you supposed to do with this?
There wasn't a single good vibe from the moment after
It
that.
was
timeout.
vibeless. This
It's
was
true.
a vibeless game.
Well, at least it's Portland. Portland is like the kind of opponent where if you have a feel-good game, MPJ plays well, the vibes are back, the energy's back.
This just might be the season, man.
yeah, it's going to be a
Vibes
tough.
good, vibes bad.
It is
Vibes good,
dude. It
vibes
is
bad.
the quest for the vibes. Where are the vibes?
Any
want
other
those
takeaways,
vibes,
Harrison,
dude.
from this game tonight?
This felt like every Rockets game over the last 5 seasons.
The Clint Capella, the lob.
Trae Young playing the role of James Harden, Clint Capella playing the role of Clint Capella. Yeah.
Brutal.
It's just a formula that Denver really has never stopped consistently.
I will say Denver loses in Atlanta all the time, and I was referencing this on the pregame show. It was Earl Boykins that was talking about like he'd looked at an upcoming road trip and the Hawks were worse than they even are now, and he was like, "Oh, that's going to be a loss." I was listening to it on the radio. I was like, "What? Why is that going to be a loss?" And it's like Atlanta is just like players show up and like they just go crazy. Like they go out, they like. I don't know what it is. I would be one to be like, that's not true. But I was coming from a guy that had played on the Nuggets in the NBA, so maybe there's something to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
One last up or down for us, guys, to close
boy.
the night. Harrison, the Denver Nuggets, up or down?
Oh, shnikes.
It's legitimately tough to tell right now.
Only two
24
choices.
hours ago,
Look
this
at
was an easy
Look,
decision.
this is
Oh,
like
okay.
Indiana
Still up.
Jones
Still up.
trying to
I'm
figure
still
out
up
the
on the
weight.
Nuggets.
Talk me through it. Talk me into it.
Look, like these games, as much of a cop-out as this is to say, they just happen. Denver's probably going to have more of them this year than last year. But all this season is about is getting to the playoffs and getting there as healthy as possible. Yes, you would love to get the 4 seed, but this season is so almost like fake in a way with all the injuries and the COVID absences and stuff that you just need to get to the playoffs in one piece and see what happens from there. You cannot be in the 7 or 8 seed. Like that is a disaster, but
There is still time to climb yourself
Yeah.
out of that hole.
just get there in one piece. It's what this season's about.
Superstar Dev, up or down?
I am down right now on the Nuggets.
Bummer fest over
Just
here.
really because I don't the issues that they have, I don't see how you fix their issues right now. They're without their defenders, and we don't have like really a timetable on anything. We didn't hear anything about JaMychal Green. We have no idea when Paul Millsap is coming back. Gary
So
Harris
true.
just went down after coming back.
PJ
So
still a question mark?
PJ, we don't have any answer. There's a guy on the team, Greg Whittington. We've never heard anything about it. We just don't know anything. On top of the fact that they're just not getting it, done against these teams that you just always would pencil in as a win. You just know that the Nuggets will beat some teams, but this year you're just like, we're going to see what happens. And that's not a good place to be in for a Nuggets fan or for the Nuggets team to just not have many answers.
Eric, up or down?
It's tough.
I'm going up. Listen, the Denver
Least
Nuggets
surprising
are.
development of all time.
I'm not out on the team. They're not playing well right now. They're currently down. But do I believe any less in this squad? No, I do not. Like, I have seen enough markers and enough good things out of players that I know what this team can do. Like, Gary Harris is injured. PJ Dozier is injured. Paul Millsap is injured. JaMychal Green is injured. Like, that's how you fix all of your problems. Those players playing basketball on the court. Like, and again, you brought him up, Greg Whittington. Like, We have defensive issues. But I mean, I'm joking around. Like, but honestly, like Jokic played terrible tonight by his standards. The Nuggets really could have used him. Unfortunately, the Nuggets have become all too reliant upon him. And when that leg of the chair falls out, like you really see like people scrambling, not really knowing what to do. We're coming to the All-Star break, which is actually going to be a blessing, I believe, for the Denver Nuggets. They have a chance to really get healthy coming out the other side and figure out who they are for that stretch. The race for what can hopefully be the 4 seed. Listen, it's dark. It feels like garbage, but I'm not out on the team. I'm not down on the team.
Well said.
I would say down because they're not healthy, right? The goal is to be healthy, and they're very far from it. And this was a roster construction that I still think can work, but there was not a lot of room for error. And it's no one's fault that they're injured, the organization least of all, but they are lacking certain body types. And once some of those guys went down, there really wasn't an answer. So they're in a tough spot. The argument for up is this. Just that last game we saw MPJ, Murray, and Jokic play well together for the first time.
Totally.
Tonight, I thought the defense was bad, but physically and offensively, Jamal Murray looked like that guy for the 3rd game in a row.
I think it's the 4th.
Always a lot of flaws. Sure. And I'm just talking like that superstar level.
I'm saying
all the myriad and obvious blatant flaws in this team notwithstanding.
Yeah.
This is the NBA. So big market, Brendan, if you believe in the top end talent, then you should be up on the squad. Feeling better about Jamal, feeling better about MPJ tonight, bumping the road with Malone's decision making, but that's the case for up, is that those 3, it's in a better place than it was a week ago.
Which injured guy do you think they missed the most tonight?
Gary Harris.
Gary Harris.
Yeah?
Perimeter D.
Gary Harris.
I was going to maybe say JaMychal Green. Just because the missed rotations and the stuff on the backside of the defense. And I mean, when your bigs are Jokic, Najee, and Hartenstein, I mean, that's just tough.
Yeah.
That's just tough.
Yeah,
That's
but then, I mean, consider the fact that Najee was essentially starting because of Gary. I mean, MPJ would have been playing that 4, if not for that injury. Whatever. It's
They got killed on the boards tonight.
it would have been nice
44
for
to 33.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like half a dozen one, whatever. We needed them both. We need them all. We need our Denver Nuggets.
Following the vibes is a real roller coaster, man, on an NBA season. And I'll say the good news is, at least for people's just sort of peace of mind, mental state, I really think Portland's the kind of game where if you win that one and you win it the right way, all is well in Nugget land again. We'll see, guys.
Just winning it.
We'll see. Patience is a virtue, but I admit this isn't very fun. We'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button on YouTube.
Like button.
We appreciate the hundreds of you, thousands of you that rock with us even during these Losers Lounges. You guys are the best. Keep the faith. Enjoy your Sunday evening.
Let's
Night.
go.